Hey developers, in this video we will be adding a feature to the command console that lets you press tab to autocomplete commands. I'm going to be using the console for my building a command console video, and while there are some assumptions on implementation, you should be able to adapt this to any console so long as you can get access to all the command names. We will be making use of a trie data structure, so before we start, let me give you a basic explanation on how they work. In the top right we have a handful of different command names that we'll use for demonstration purposes. Let's start with a CLS command. Each letter of the string becomes a node of the tree, with the last letter being flagged to indicate that the nodes from this point up to the root form a complete string. Next we'll add in the debug.print and debug.printerror commands. You'll notice that we reuse nodes for existing letters and don't create new ones. This is why we flag nodes as complete strings, because we can't just rely on leaf nodes to indicate a valid string. Now let's fill in the rest of the command so you can see the completed tree. We can implement tab completion by walking down the trie as far as the user has typed, and then continuing until we either reach a flagged node, which would indicate a complete command, or until we reach a node with more than one child, which would indicate a divergence. In either case, the user will have to type further before the tab completion can offer the next section. And with that explanation out of the way, let's start by connecting the input bar's GUI input signal to the console window so we can watch for when the tab key is pressed. The trie will be built with two classes, one for the tree node and one for the tree itself. We'll start with the node class. This is pretty simple. It's just a dictionary for child nodes, a variable for storing data on this node, a variable for flagging that this node represents a complete string, and a function for adding child nodes. Next we'll implement the tree class. For this we need a root node, a function for adding strings to the tree, a function to get the next divergence point, and a helper function that returns the node that represents the end of the given string. For adding strings, we'll start at the root and walk the string character by character, moving to each consecutive node if it exists, or creating a new one if it doesn't. When a node is created, we add that node's string representation to its data. And once we've finished walking through the string, we flag the last node as terminal. Next, we'll build the helper function that simply returns the node at the end of the provided string, assuming it exists. And lastly, to get the divergence, we start at the end of the string and walk down the tree for as long as there's only one child and the node is not terminal. Once we've found a node, we return that node's data, which represents the string up to that point. Now to hook everything up. After instantiating the tree, we need to populate it with the command names, which is done in the add command module function by walking through the module's commands and adding them to the tree. I would like to note that the trie can be used at this point to verify that there aren't duplicate command names, however that is not the scope of this video. Now that we've got a populated tree, it's time to use it. In the onGUI input signal function, we check that the event is a key, early out if it's not pressed, and if it's the tab key, grab the string at the next divergence from the input bar's current text. If we get a new string, we simply replace the input bar's text with it and set the cursor position to the end of the string. Congratulations, you've completed tab completion. As you can see, the trie data structure can be quite powerful for working with strings. In fact, it's the foundation of most spell checkers. There are many more things that the trie can be used for with the command console, and I will probably make a video that refactors my console implementation into a more advanced version making use of a trie like this. But until then, I hope you found this video useful.